Good evening. Good evening and welcome everybody to another Red Trouser Day cook-along. Good to see a few of you in the run-up to Christmas. There seems to be some power outages in certain parts of the country, so I know there's one or two people that can't get on tonight that I hope to join us. But anyway, it will be good fun, whatever, in our usual style. So I'd like to, for those of you who haven't met Rosey, I think you've probably all seen her already, having a little dance around in the kitchen. So good evening, Rosey. Rosey volunteered to do this ages ago. Julia and I have been the wonderful recipients of some Onion Bhajis in the past, and I can tell you now that they are really worth waiting for. So we're going to do, I believe, the menu upside down. We're going to start with the dessert this evening.
Yes, we are.
And to make the dessert so it can chill in the fridge, and then we'll move on to the Raita, and then on to the Onion Bhajis themselves. So now, Rosie and I talked a little bit about how this should work earlier. So what we thought we would do is start with where you should be at the moment. And if we start with have I got this? You have to tell me if I've got this right, Rosie. The Shrikand dish.
Yep, the Shrikand dish, which is your dessert.
It's your dessert. It's a red berry Shrikand. So what you should have to hand before I hand over to Rosie is a sieve to strain the yogurt. And Rosie's going to show you what we're talking about. So you should have one of those. You need some kitchen roll, a few sheets of kitchen roll so that you can actually strain the yogurt. A medium-sized bowl. A tablespoon to stir. Small dessert spoons for putting the ready-made dish into.
Yes, small dishes.
Sorry, yeah. So whatever you're going to serve them in, and a small knife. And I did ask Rosie earlier what the knife was for. I'm not sure I got an answer, but
yes, you did. It was for your strawberries and.
Oh yes, cutting the strawberries up.
Yeah.
And then a mortar and pestle for crushing your nuts. So be careful what you do with that one.
If you've got one, if you haven't, you can use your knife to chop up your nuts.
Right.
Very carefully.
So the ingredients you need to have at hand are a tub of Greek yogurt, some saffron strands that should be soaking in a teaspoon of milk, some ground cardamom powder. We couldn't find any in the local supermarkets, but I think Julia was grinding her own.
If you haven't got cardamom, you can use a little bit of cinnamon instead. So
brown sugar, 100 grams of demerara sugar or brown caster, and some strawberries or raspberries, and some crushed pistachios, cashews, or almonds. So that's what you should have to hand. So over to you, Rosie. Go.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, as Paul said, we're going backwards. We're doing our sweet dish and Raita first, so we can chill both of them in the fridge while we're making the onion bhajis. So to start off, I've been preparing, and I'm hoping you've been preparing as well. I've been preparing the strawberries into small chunks so we can stir them in. So let's do that. I've got one strawberry left to chop up, so quick small chunks into my little bowl there. So once we've done that, you should have either strawberries or raspberries, your choice. I've got both of them today because I like a little bit of fruit. And you can notice it's all going to be Red Trouser Day themed dishes. So a little bit about, while I'm actually preparing things, a little bit about Shrikland. It's a sweet dish from northern India. Now, traditionally, this particular dish is with just saffron and yogurt and a little bit of sugar as well, or a lot of sugar. And it's just stirred in, and actually it's a palate cleanser. There's lots of different variations. This is my twist to it, so we can have a bit of fruit in there as well. So once we've done that, now you've got your yogurt and I've got yogurt. Now this pot says it's strained yogurt already, but what I'm going to do is got my sieve or colander with my kitchen towel, if you've got that there. Depending on how many of you are having the food or the dessert, as it were, I'm putting a couple of large dessert spoons or tablespoons in there. It's just to take out the extra moisture. Now, if you've got pre-strained yogurt, you're fine. Basically, you can just put it straight into the bowl. But I'm just demonstrating what you can do, and just takes the extra moisture out, and you can feel, you know, the moisture coming out. It's a little bit damp, as it were. Just leave it a little bit in this particular colander, put it aside. You can put it near your drainer, and then that's going to sit there for a little while.
So just to check in on something, the straining is in a colander, not a bowl, because obviously it will be soaking back in its own water if it was in a bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
It's a sieve or a colander, basically. And
I can get into this cooking thing.
And you've got the kitchen towel actually bringing out the extra moisture, because we're going to put some different moisture into it. So now we talked about saffron. Now, why the saffron? So the saffron gives it a little bit of aroma, and it also gives you a little bit of color as well. So if you take a little bit of milk, just a tablespoon of milk or a teaspoon of milk, and soak your strands, a pinch would do. Basically, I said 10 strands, but just as a pinch will do of saffron, into either a little bowl or whatever. I've got a little espresso mug here, which I'm using, and over a few minutes or very quickly, it will soak into this lovely orangey, yellowy orange color. As you can see, I've had this soaked for a little while now, and the color's really coming out of it. Basically, leave the strands in, because we're going to actually mix the strands and the actual little solution in together. Now, what's next? What we do? So yes, let's do this next. So now if you're keeping up with me, please tell me if I'm too fast. Nuts. Now you've got a choice that I gave you, either pistachios, almonds, or cashews, whatever your choice is. If you've got almonds, you might have bought them either sort of crumbled or sliced, if that's fine. If you haven't, then worthwhile crushing them. I've got some pistachios. I've got about 2 or 3 tablespoons of pistachios that I've been actually in my mortar, just been crushing them. If you haven't got a mortar, you can use a mallet at them. But it's just basically roughly making sure, not fully ground, but just basically making sure you've still got a bit of a crunch going.
So you're crunching in nuts.
The crunchy nuts that go in, basically.
This is pistachios, cashews, or almonds, or all 3?
All almonds, either or. You've got 3 different choices. I like to give people a choice, because some people don't like pistachios or almonds or cashews.
But the point is, Rosie, would you have a little selection of each, or does that?
You can mix them. You can mix them if you want to. Absolutely, you can mix them, because you've got a really nutty flavor going on. I've chosen to use pistachios. That's one of my favorites. Actually, pistachio is my favorite, and then cashews next. Almonds, I've so here or there.
Before we move on, let's wait for a thumbs up that everybody's with us.
Yes.
So if you're with it, so we have 2. Yeah.
2, 3. I can see Julia beavering away.
Julia. Where's Julia?
Julia's
still mashing.
Yeah, she's mashing. I can see. I've got gallery view, so I can see Julia. Okie dokie. So
hang on. Before we'll just wait for Julia to catch up. Keith, are you there? Give me a thumb. Good man.
Good.
Julia, how far? She's
Thumbs
there.
up. Hey.
And you in? Anne's disappeared. Are you there with the nuts?
Yay.
No. Anne's a couple more minutes.
Couple of minutes, yeah. So.
Okay, then what?
And you're probably going to get a lot of yogurt in your hands, like I am at the minute. So
hang on. What's happened to the yogurt there?
So I've actually taken the yogurt out of my kitchen towel and just put it into my bowl.
Ah, right. Okay.
Okay. So that was an example.
So empty the yogurt into a bowl, not the colander.
Not the colander. No, empty it into your bowl. I'm going to add a little bit more, because mine's pre-strained. So I just wanted to demonstrate to you guys what it would look like, because this works pretty well. So that's done there. So once we've put the yogurt in there, now, as you've probably soaked, and you can start, as people started to see this lovely little yellow color come into their saffron, and a little bit of milk. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, cool. I can see a thumbs up there. Still thumbs up with your saffron. Little yellow color. Yay. Oh, look. God, Rowan's done a whole bunch of it. It's brilliant. Absolutely love it. Okay, so what we do is, if you're ready, we pour it into the yogurt, including the strands. You can start seeing all this lovely yellow color coming out.
Right.
That's how it looks.
Do you mix it?
Yes, we do, just in a second. So I'm going to take my ground cardamom.
So now we're on to the ground cardamom powder. And you're going to tip how much of that in? 1 tablespoon or teaspoon?
No, just a little bit, like a,
small
just
amount.
about the tip of your teaspoon, not too much, because it's quite a strong aroma. And you can do that if you didn't find any cardamom, then you can add your add cinnamon to it if you didn't find it.
Right, so cinnamon if you haven't got cardamom
powder, yeah. Or if you've made your own cardamom powder, I think you're better than I am, because so right, okay. Next thing, oh, that was loud for me, but the sugar,
so,
the brown sugar.
Right, so what's that, a couple of tablespoons, was that?
That was as much as you wanted. I did say about 100 grams, but put a little bit less. So you can put about 60 or 70 grams of it, because it will be, because I've got demerara sugar. If you've got brown sugar, it's absolutely fine. The demerara sugar is a little bit, gives you a bit of a crunch, sweet crunch. So every so often you'll get that sweet crunch. And now, what did I do with that spoon? My spoon's gone missing. Well, I'm going to, that's it. That's why it's gone missing. Right. So what we'll be doing is now stirring that in until everything's mixed with your tablespoon or your dessert spoon.
Mix it all up.
Yeah. So it will look nice and sort of like creamy, slightly yellow.
So it's looking like a lemon curd ice cream now.
It looks like a lemon curd ice cream, doesn't it? But the aroma of the saffron, it will actually come out really well. So once that's stirred in a little bit, we can actually taste the sugar as well. The final bits to add. First,
your nuts.
Your nuts. Yeah, absolutely. Your nuts go in.
Yeah.
So that's done. I shall put that aside. Please do not ask me to start a cookery school. And then your berries.
So you're going to bury your nuts.
Your nuts and your berries go in together.
Right. And then you mix it all up.
Yeah, give it a nice little stir.
Looking forward to that. That looks nice.
It looks really nice, doesn't it?
Actually, I want to see Julia's, because I want to know whether I'm coming to yours or hers tonight.
So if you can have a bit of a taste. If it's like not enough sugar, add a little bit of more sugar in.
Very good.
So now that's done. Now what you can do is, one of your serving dishes, or if you choose to use a wine glass, because sometimes whatever your serving dishes are, just spoon some in.
Very good.
And you can cover it or just put it straight into your fridge, basically, so it chills. So you have a nice chilled dessert. That's it done. So I'm going to.
That's very good.
Yep, mine's going into the fridge as an entire thing. So I just wanted to demonstrate that.
Just sort of a general question, really. I mean, if we've made too much for tonight, will it last, or is it the sort of thing that goes off within a day?
Yeah, I'd say, have it tomorrow as well. You can have it up until the weekend if you keep it chilled and covered, really.
Right.
You know, it's,
you can't freeze it though.
No, not with this. It's like a one-time dessert, really. But once you start having some of this, you sort of like say, "Oh my goodness, I could have another bowl of that, really." And it's Greek yogurt. You know, you can't go wrong with Greek yogurt, can you, Julia? Let's see, she's shaking her head. So you know, we done good. Yes.
So everybody's tasting their own delight. I'm on a completely different floor to the kitchen. I'm missing out here.
You are totally on the different floor to the kitchen. So mine's going in the fridge.
Nice. Right, we'll just wait for thumbs up before we move on. So if you can give me your thumbs up when you're ready to do, when you've put it in the dish. That's Jill and Jeff are done. Who else we got? Yeah, Sally and Keith are done. Tim, rather. How are we doing, Rowan? Rowan's still doing his. Can't see you. Julia, are you done?
I am done, and I have tasted it. It is so delicious.
It is awesome, isn't it? It's absolutely awesome.
Absolutely delicious. I'm just about to put it in the fridge.
Cool. You're gonna.
Yeah, I've been
one of our.
I've been going. Well,
it's our family favourite. Yeah, it's our family favourite. But this specific recipe is specially for Red Trouser Day. So I haven't done it with red berries before. So
right, okay.
There you go.
So we got a Red Trouser Day special.
Absolutely. All of these dishes are Red Trouser Day specials.
Very good.
Cool.
Thank you, Rosie. Right, who is still needing a bit more time? Rohan, are you done, Rohan? Or you're okay? He's up. He's done. Tim and Stan. So Anne, are you keeping up with us? Or yeah?
I'm more following and listening and doing bits and bobs. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, no problem.
Cool.
So I think we're ready to start the next dish, which is the Raita.
Raita.
So just in case people are wondering, this picture behind me is of the Sitara restaurant where the Red Trouser Day started originally. But the lady in the picture is not Rose's mum, is actually Raj's mum. So I just thought, in case anybody had any questions about who that was, I thought I'd better put the record straight. Okay, so with the Raita, Raita even. Julie would tell you my pronunciations are always bang on. You need to have a sharp knife, a chopping board, a medium-sized bowl.
I've got a small one.
Oh, you got a small one, okay. And a tablespoon, and we need more yogurt, sun-dried tomatoes, which should have been roughly chopped, about a tablespoon's worth.
I'm going to chop it with for you. So
you're cutting with them, right? Okay. Cherry tomatoes, cumin, ground cumin, a small pinch of it, salt and black pepper.
Here comes my
What is
spice.
That?
My spice. Do you remember this? When
I do, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a cool thing. I like that.
Yeah, it's got my cumin. It's got my own mix. It's got my paprika and all sorts in there. Right. So yep, cumin.
Smoked paprika to sprinkle, salt and black pepper, and sesame seed oil to drizzle. Over to you, Rosie, for the Raita.
Well, if you're all ready for the Raita. Now, a Raita is something that we create. It's a little bit like tzatziki, and it's a dipping. You can dip it, and you can actually eat it with your samosas and onion bhajis, or actually your naan breads as well. Now, this is a Red Trouser Day twist to a Raita. Usually, Raita is made with cucumber. That's the traditional way to make it. But I'm not using cucumber. I'm going to use sun-dried tomatoes to give it that extra bit of flavour. And I'm using cherry tomatoes, or I've got little mini plum tomatoes. So what I'm going to do with the plum tomatoes, I'm going to just basically either, you can chop them in half or quarters, whichever size you want. I mean, these are quite little plum ones, so I can chop them in half. Throw them in your bowl. that's what I'm going to do.
Chop up your tomatoes and chuck them in the bowl.
Yep, you can just basically cut. Ooh, my tomatoes flying over the place. Just cut them in half. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just cutting in half.
Cut them in half. Chuck them in the bowl. Yeah.
Chuck them in the bowl. So in they go. So I'm quickly doing.
So when we have our poppadoms in the restaurants, they call that Raita, don't they?
Yes, it's got a lot of mint, and it's like
mint and cucumber basically.
It's mashed up. But proper Raita, where you can actually, it's like your own sort of like salady type thing basically, and you can have it with naan bread, and it will go pretty well with your tarkadol that you've got going in the oven very shortly. So,
Rosey, sorry, did you just put the cherry tomatoes in or the sun dried?
I've put the cherries in first. I've just chopped them.
Yeah.
So you've probably chopped your sun dried. So with your sun dried, because if it comes in a jar, it will be in oil. Now, to take the excess oil, put it on kitchen paper to like pat it dry to take that excess oil off, because it's quite oily. And that's what I've done earlier on. So it's not like Blue Peter, but there you go. So what I'm doing, I'm chopping it as small as I can, and it will look, I'm going to put it in my hand so you can see, like that. I'm dropping a few bits.
So chopped up sun-dried tomatoes without oil.
Without oil. And you just need pretty much a tablespoon of it, basically, because it's quite, if you taste a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes, you can say, oh, that's a bit strong, isn't it? So I would basically sort of like say, I'm just putting a little bit, because
like a couple, really, is that?
Yeah, a couple.
Couple of sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah, so just not to make it too strong.
Okay, in the bowl.
In the bowl. Now, we talked about the spice cumin. Now, cumin comes into ground cumin, and in our language, cumin is called jira. So this is my cumin. Now, let me just show you what cumin actually looks like. It looks a bit like fennel, but it isn't. So cumin in its whole form is like this, if you can see. So that in ground form, I can ground it myself if I wanted to, but in ground form, it's just really nice to use. So just a little bit, I think, is just to give it a bit of more. I've just got about half a teaspoon. Yeah, just sprinkle it around into that. So let me put my cumin back into its little pot and move that aside, and give it a bit of a stir with your spoon.
Mix it all up. Yeah.
Mix it all up. And the last, and also what you can also do at the same time is salt and black pepper. So that's my pepper. Oh God, that helps.
We're sprinkling in salt and black pepper. Yeah.
So salt and black pepper. I tend to like, you can put any salt in, but my favorite in the house is Himalayan salt. So just put a little bit of a sprinkle of Himalayan salt in there. 2 different ways of having yogurt. Give that a little bit of a nice little stir. And then here comes your yogurt again. So give it a good couple of dollops of yogurt.
So enough to soak all that tomato and herbs.
Yeah, it will mix it together, because you've got the and it doesn't matter whether this is strained or not. You don't have to strain it. It's not like the Shrikland. So, and because it's like a dipping thing, you don't need to put that much yogurt into it. And give that a good, nice little stir.
Okay. This is all fairly straightforward stuff, really, isn't it?
It is. It's so simple. I mean, this stuff is so simple. I mean, you can, with this, you can, leave it in your fridge for about a couple of days and have it over a couple of days. It's really good. It's like your dipping sauces that you get from the high street supermarket. Oh, a nice kick of the cumin. Now, what I tend to do is, if you've got sesame oil, is everybody okay with sesame oil? Did they manage to find sesame oil anywhere? if not, you can put like, if you didn't find sesame oil, you can actually use, oh God, what is it? Extra virgin oil, olive oil if you want, virgin olive oil if you want to. But oh, the smell of this sesame oil is just amazing. And I know I've got it in a shot glass, but I'm not going to put the whole thing in because otherwise it will be overpowering. So if everybody's ready, just a little bit of a drizzle.
Can't quite see that one, Rosie.
Sorry, a little bit of a drizzle.
Yeah. Literally a thimbleful, not even that.
Yeah, thimbleful. Yeah, I mean, I put it in here just for show's sake.
Yeah. Right.
So that, and then give it a gentle stir. So you've got that silky, oily look.
Ah, okay.
Sort of like silky. And oh my God, if you smell it, you can smell the sesames. I mean, often some people actually just put, normal sesames in there because it gives that crunch as well. You can do that if you want. I thought, let's put some sesame oil instead.
Very good.
So we've got that, and then just going to clean the let's have a bit of oh yeah. Oh, that's really nice. Oh yeah. So the final thing, your smoked paprika.
Yeah.
Now this is where I come completely. I make sure shake it a little bit, make sure it's all sort of like I've dolloped it before into things and made a right hash of it. So I would just basically over top just sprinkle it. Good. Like that.
Right.
Yeah. Hope that's helping everybody see what it looks like. And it gives that a little nice smoky taste. It will give the smoky taste and a smoky feel. And then cover it up with your cling film, or if you've got.
Have I missed the turmeric?
There isn't any turmeric in this one yet. No, my lovely. It's just smoked paprika. And then we can just cover it and put it in the fridge. And this is your dipping for your onion bhajis.
So that should now go in the fridge.
That's now in the fridge. We don't need the yogurt anymore.
Excellent. So we'll just wait for people to give us the thumbs up again. So we have, Christine and Keith. Christine and Keith are good. Tim and Sally. Tim's mucking out the bowl. I'm quite jealous, actually. I'm 2 floors up from Julia. Very good.
Oh, goodness.
I think, Julia, are we okay down there? She's out of view.
I'm just trying to reorganise my fridge because, we've got a much smaller fridge since we moved. Just to put this in the fridge, but I'm almost ready. I won't be a sec.
Okay, I'll just wait for Julia to catch up. So refill your glasses. We're on to the main event. Oh, and Julia, put the oven on.
Yeah, this is a good time to put your oven on. Not for everybody else, it's just for Paul's tarkadal.
I decided earlier that I needed something with my onion bhaji, so I cooked up the tarkadal.
We should go round Paul's just for the tarkadal.
My tarkadals are legendary, I'll tell you.
Okie dokie.
1 second, we haven't heard from Julia yet.
That's absolutely fine. I am reorganizing my kitchen while this is all happening.
So just as a reminder, for the next one, the signature onion bhajis.
Yep.
You need some chickpea flour, but you're saying if you haven't got or haven't been able to find chickpea flour, the ordinary flour and some eggs.
Yeah.
Well, 1 egg, or when you say some eggs, what would you do?
I have 3 large eggs. If you've got medium eggs, we'll do, we'll put that. But it's all about how we actually make that batter.
All right, so it's not ordinary flour and an egg makes chickpea flour. It's
No, chickpea flour is
chickpea flour or ordinary flour will do because
yeah.
it's for the batter, right? Okay, but
It's for the
chickpea
batter,
flour
yeah.
is what it should be.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
So,
Right.
so you know, as Jill probably hasn't got chickpea flour, it's like you'd use normal flour for batter for
Yeah.
your fish.
That
for
makes sense
example.
now.
Yeah.
Well, we found a load of chickpea flour, so we're good on that
Yeah.
one.
Cool.
Are you ready, Jules?
I can't, because it's a new oven, it arrived today. I can't really see which one is found. So I've put it top and bottom, and I'm going to put the takadal in there with some tin foil. I need just 2 minutes and I'm done.
Cool.
Right.
Cool. So while Julia's getting her oven sorted for the takadal, and everybody's, I'll quickly talk about what onion bhajis are. So onion bhajis, well, it's not a construct from the UK. It's a traditional dish. It's not really called onion bhajis. It's called quite a lot of different things in India. And also there's places like South India, they do it. West Bengal and Bangladesh is quite popular, but we don't call it onion bhajis. We call it pyaza. And pyaza means, pyaz means onion. And pyaza means, of course, it's fried, it's in batter. And the onion bhajis that you're going to make tonight are going to be pretty stringy. So they're not going to be like in balls or anything like that with a lot of flour and stuff like that. We'll have flour as a batter, but that's what it is basically, and that's what we call it at home. And there you can make them bite size or as big or as small as you want. I like bite size because it's crunchy and it's moreish basically. It's our go-to when we're on movie night. We'll make a whole bunch of onion bhajis and we'll sit with our dips and everything in front of the telly.
Well, instead of popcorn.
Instead of popcorn, that's at home. Of course, we won't. You know, in India, they actually take them into the movie theaters. They will make them, or they buy the street food, and that they will not eat popcorn. Of course, the new generation are totally different, but traditional. There will be onion bhaji samosas going into watching the.
That's my idea of a film and a night out. That is
absolutely.
All right. So I think just had the thumbs up, Rosie, from Julia. So cool. What you should have to hand is your chickpea flour, a range of spices, which should include some salt, black pepper, turmeric, paprika, cumin, ground cumin, that is, mustard, English Dijon or whole grain, some bicarbonate of soda, 3 or 4 medium large eggs. Unless you're a vegan, you can use water instead, apparently, and water to thin the batter. So hopefully you got your utensils together, which is a sharp knife, a chopping board, a medium-sized bowl, a tablespoon to stir it, and now onto the other ingredient. Oh no, sorry, no. What am I talking about? That's the ingredients and preparation. I'm about to wander into a repeat of the Raita. Right.
You're going. You turn the page. So
no.
Shall I help you with that?
Sorry, I've just read out the wrong one, have I? No, that's the batter.
No, that's the batter. You've got the batter.
Yeah,
you need
batter.
the veggies.
Right. You still need your sharp knife and a chopping board. You need a spatula, a whisk, two large bowls. One for the prep veg and the other to make the batter, a wok or a large pan, presumably, or deep pan, slotted spoon, kitchen paper, and a serving dish. So presumably quite a lot of oil as well.
Quite a lot of oil. So what I would like to do to start off, let's prep the veg, then we can get rid of our chopping board.
Okay.
So what we've got for the veg is this is another Red Trouser Day themed. Normally we would use white onions or brown onions as you call them to make the onion bhajis. I'm using red onions, as you can see all the themes. So the red onions. I'm also using a red pepper to slice it and red chilies. So you can have a red bell pepper or I'm using a pointy pepper. It's
we
quite
call
sweet.
those sweet peppers.
So yeah, I'm a pointy pepper. That's me. Sweet peppers, because it gives you a bit of sweetness, but I've also got some heat. If you want heat, if you love your heat, red chilies, I've got 3 of them. If you don't want to put your chilies in, don't put them in if you don't want that heat, because you've got that choice to do that, because the spices will balance it all out.
So if you want them spicy, use 3 chilies. If you don't want them too spicy, forget the chilies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So some of you might have already chopped your onions. I haven't chopped my onions because I wanted to show you how I chop my onions. So I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in chopping onions. Oh, also if you've got fresh coriander as well to give you that extra aroma. If you've got dried coriander, that will work as well because it goes straight nice into the batter. So I haven't chopped those yet. So let's go for the onions first.
Hang on, Rosie. I think Julia was trying to ask something.
Cool.
Question for Paul. How spicy do you want your onion bhajis tonight? I've
Yes.
already chopped one red chilli, but I can chop a second one.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
So start, everybody else, if you haven't sliced your onions, I recommend please do slice them. And I'm going to be as quickly
Blimey, you've done
as I
that
can.
before, haven't you?
Yeah, you'd think I've been doing this before. And then now I'm showing off. Please be careful with your fingers. It's a good thing you can't hear me chopping these because I've got this noise cancelling headphones on. And the jingle dangle of my bangles going on in the background. So red onions will give you that punchiness, but also it will give you that nice little sweetness as well. Not too sweet, but it'll really nice. I really like making onion bhajis with red onions. I usually just go in and see what onions I've got in there, and I'll just go for it. And the kids they're all grown up. They just wait for me to do the onion bhajis. So that's happening. I've got you can probably do as many onions as you want or less. I'm doing about 4. And the good thing is you can eat onion bhajis cold as well if you want.
I don't think I'd have any fingers left if I cut an onion like that.
Well, it took a long while with the chefs. This is the way Mum and Dad taught me. Usually, if I did it really traditionally, they've got these what we call these knives are called da, which we call, and you sit on the floor. And in Bangladesh and even in India, the onions are quite small, the shallot size onions. And you should see these women cutting these onions. Are awesome, so finely sliced. And they're like machines, basically. My mum used to be able to do it, sitting on the floor, doing it all together. But then Dad sort of say, you can't have that. It's too dangerous. You're going to have to learn how to do it with a knife. And she became an expert herself. My dad had the very first Indian restaurant down in Weymouth called the Shah.
Oh.
Yes, and we were in the newspaper in Dorset Echo back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And he used to do that on the side while he was an engineer for British Steel. So that's a bit of history for you.
Oh, very good. When you say the first one in the country, or the first one in Weymouth?
The first one in south of the country, basically, in Dorset. So, and I wasn't born at that time, but.
So you're doing something there, Rosie. What are you doing?
So what I'm doing here, the onions I've just sliced, I'm actually de-stranding them, basically separating them.
Right.
So
separate your onions.
Separate the onions. So throw them in the bowl and start separating them with your hands. Go for it. The onion said, when I snuff it, I'll make you cry. So if you're crying, it's a good onion. That was me translating something from Bengali to English. Usually it said, "Amar jabar shomoy ami tomake khadiye debo." That's what they say. So, okay, so that's all stranded up. I'm going to put that aside for a little bit. Give my hand a bit of a wash. Next thing I'm going to chop, I'll go for the red pepper or your sweet pepper. And this is where we'll de-seed this pepper
So de-seed your pepper.
De-seed
Presumably
your
they're too chewy, are they? The seeds? Is that why?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, you know, fiddly, isn't it? Just basically seeds all over the place, and you know, don't want to be. It's just a little bit more cleaner in some sense. So let's try and get all of this. Hope you're all able to de-seed your pepper okay. So that's that. So with this, it's just really thin slices. Can you see how it's just basically taking the tip of your knife and just basically slicing them into thin slices. So what it will do, it will blend in. And if you've got bell peppers, you can actually cut the bell peppers in quarters and do the same thing after de-seeding it. And how's everybody getting on? Are you seeing any thumbs up, Paul?
Yeah, I'm seeing. I think because the we've got to, because I think actually the instructions said in the preparation they should be de-seeded and thinly sliced before you start. So I think you're behind the game, actually, Rosey.
I am behind the game because I want to sort of like give the people some experience with it. Basically, I thought, you know, if everybody's watching, they'll say, okay. I'll say, oh my God, I didn't cut those peppers properly. Let me go and re-slice them or get another one out. So I'm behind the game. I can't believe it. Always last to do things. So we've got that. The next thing that's coming up will be the coriander, the fresh coriander. Now, those people who have got the fresh coriander, we're going to finely chop them up.
Yeah, so it says on the preparation, actually, it should be finely chopped already.
If you've already finely chopped them, cool, because I'm going to chop mine now.
Yeah.
So here goes, including the stalks, because the stalks have got a nice flavour as well.
Yeah. That's something I only learned very recently with Judah, actually, because I would have previously have chopped the stalks off. But
yeah, you know, when I was a kid, I used to hate coriander because, you know, when it was put in, I used to be able to find the coriander and just basically pick it out. And Mum used to tell me off about it, basically saying, well, what are you doing? And now I absolutely love the stuff. She's just like, Mum sort of like said, well, where's my daughter? And what have you done with her? Now you like coriander, what's going on with you? So
my mum overfed me on marrow and I can't eat the stuff still today.
Goodness.
Stuffed bloody marrow. No, thank you.
I think I've got a few of those. There's a few things. I don't like mackerel because I had a bone caught back when I was a kid, and I just, you know.
I was reading today that mackerel has the best source of vitamin D from foods.
Yeah. It's quite a nice oily fish as well. I think I wouldn't be able to have fresh mackerel. We used to have a lot of mackerel. So that's the coriander that's gone in.
So now what's gone in so far is it all going into the same bowl with the onions, Rosie? Is it?
Yeah,
so you've got the onions all shredded and split apart. You've then got the pepper thinly sliced and the coriander. So it's all gone into the same bowl.
On to that. So the chilies.
So you're not mixing it. Oh yeah, we're going to do that in a bit, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm going to. With the chili,
I'm
going to leave the seeds in with the chili. That's why I didn't leave the seeds in with the other one. And I'm just basically going to quickly chop
the chilies. Yeah.
Again,
it was in the instructions, de-seeded and thinly. Oh no, that's the.
Yeah, you
peppers.
can. Yeah, that was the peppers. I'm keeping the seeds in because the kids
keep
like
the seeds in, Julia.
You can keep the seeds in. Be careful as you're chopping them. The heat is in the flesh on the skin, not in the seeds. Apparently,
is that right?
So, yeah,
Rosie, I've combined the onions and pepper. And did you say to put the coriander in the same bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the chili?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So
please
don't. If you're handling the chili, please do not touch your eyes. Wash your hands with lemon and.
Wash your hands with lemon. That's an interesting one. So that desensitizes the chili, does it?
Yeah, it's the neutralization of all the acid that comes off the.
So a question, Rosie. So if you've eaten something spicily too hot, if you have a bit of lemon, does that take it out?
lemon is really good for it to. It's one of the things people think is like milk, but
No,
not
it doesn't work.
particularly. It's the milk doesn't work. So lemon or anything citrusy actually really helps if you're really sort of like your mouth's blowing out of proportion, basically. I find it's useful when it's a hot curry. I just basically, if it really is over hot, I will say, give me some lemon juice, somebody.
Yeah, very good. Okay.
Yeah. So what we've now got is now we're ready to actually start making the batter in a separate bowl. Basically, I'm going to make the batter in a separate bowl. So if you've got a separate bowl handy, that'd be useful.
Rosey, before you get onto the batter, are we supposed to really stir everything in the other bowl with the onions?
No, we can stir it all together when we add it to the batter. Basically, we'll pour it.
All right.
I'll show you what we do. So for the batter, we've got. I've got my gram flour. You've either got your normal flour, or anything else. I am going to put. What did I say on my list, Paul?
Yeah, you did. You said 6 heaped tablespoons.
Yep, you can do that. And
is that enough batter to make for four onions load?
Yeah.
So people
the thing is, if it's too thin and it's not enough, we can add more to it. We can just sprinkle some more, but let's make the batter first, okay, and then we can assess it.
Okay.
So now I've put the gram flour into the bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going to add some salt.
Okay.
About, what did I say? About a teaspoon to a couple of, we can add more salt if it's not salty enough, basically. We can sort of like, you can always test the batter. I'll show you how I test the batter. So I've added some salt. I can add some pepper as well.
Salt and pepper, yeah.
And then come all the different types of spices. Now, here we have, let me see, you've still got your cumin powder out. You can use some cumin. And again, as much as you want, I'm going to put around about a teaspoon of that in. Normal paprika, if you've got it. That goes in. This is where turmeric comes in, Jill. You can put a teaspoon of that in. What else have we got?
Mustard, you said.
Mustard I've got. I'm just basically checking what else I can put in. Yeah, is that garam masala? No, that's garam masala. It's done, yeah, isn't it?
Oh, now you're going off piece.
I'm not going off piece.
The only thing that you have you mentioned mustard?
Mustard is going in next. Mustard will go in very shortly, because if you've got whole grain mustard, or you've got like English mustard or Dijon, hold on to it a little bit, basically, because I want to be able to get that mixture going before we put any other soggy stuff into it. So we've got that.
Rosey, I'm just using powdered mustard, and I combine
that's
it
cool.
all. So
that's fine. If you've got powdered, you're fine. So if you've got a spatula,
mix it all up.
Mix all the dry ingredients, shall we say, together. Now, the next bit is your eggs. Let's crack the eggs, put them in a separate bowl if you want. I'm going to pour them all in without. Okay, if you've already pre-beaten your eggs, you're ahead of me.
It does say on the instructions, beat your eggs in a bowl.
Eggs. If people have beaten their eggs, they're well ahead of me. I'm just going to break up the yolks and beat it a little bit. And this, before you put the eggs in, I forgot the bicarbonate of soda, didn't I?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So you need half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, yeah?
Yep. That goes in, sorted.
Right.
I just suddenly saw it.
That's the end of the herbs and spices.
Herbs and spices are done.
Yeah. So you're going to mix all that back and make sure that's good, and then you're going to chuck the eggs in, are you?
I'm going to chuck the eggs in now.
Literally chuck them in.
I'm chucking them in. Ah. Aim that.
And mixing all that up.
Now, I'm mixing it all up. Ouch. Now, it should start forming a form of batter. If it's a little bit sort of like lumpy, I've got blooming powder all over the place. It's going to all go all over me. It will start forming a batter. And if it's a little bit sort of like, oh God, it's still dry, we'll start adding, you can either, there's two choices. You can either add water or add another egg. The choice is yours, basically. So mine's a little bit, getting a little lumpy. So I'm going to go and get another egg. So I'm off to go and get another egg. Oh, I'll get a whole bunch of them. Or you can add water if you wish, basically. So here's my egg. I'm going to just throw it in there.
How thick is it meant to be?
It's got to be, if you can get it into a custard form. If it's too thin, Jill, add some little bit more flour slowly, little by little. So
I was wondering if it's too thick, actually.
If it's a custard like, you've got the right consistency.
Yeah,
so
right.
mine's a little bit really thick. So I'm going to add some water. Actually, I'm going to use this bowl.
When you say custard thick, do you mean lumpy custard or do you mean runny custard?
There's something there.
It's like, it's like thick custard, proper ambrosia Devon custard.
Right.
You're brilliant.
So lumpy custard type.
Yeah. So I've added a little bit of water. So I've got 4 eggs in mine. You can start, if you've got chickpea flour, you can start smelling the chickpeas flour, and it's sort of like saying, oh, okay, but that smell disappears when you start frying it, really.
Yes.
It's nice and thick. So
Is that the right texture then? What you just showed?
What it will do, if you've got it into that thickness,
just show people. So you better speak because it's the camera's taking me.
So basically, this is how thick you would want it. Does that make sense? If that looks okay. Yeah. And if it's not that, it's a little bit thin, add a little bit more of the flour. And then that's how thick. And what will also happen, it will thin out a little bit, because once you put the onions will actually release their own water, as well as the peppers and things like that, and it will make it a little bit thinner. So, yeah.
Okay, so we'll just hold fire before we move on to make sure we get some thumbs ups, I think.
Yep, that's a good idea.
So give me the thumbs up when you've got your consistency custard-like things there.
Lumpy custard. How's it going, Tim?
Jeff and Jill are there, I think.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, love it. So while you've got your
I think Rohan, have a look at Rohan's. That looks a bit runny to me.
The Onion Bhaji police is here.
Yeah, Julius is about right, is it?
Yeah. Rohan, you're letting the side down, mate.
Well, he's French, isn't he?
Still letting the side down.
Obviously a different style of batter in France.
While Rohan's still like thickening it up, if you've got your mustard, throw your mustard with it.
If you've got your ordinary English ready-made and chuck how much?
I'm going to put. You can put teaspoon in. I'm putting a couple.
Couple of teaspoons in, give
Yeah.
it a flavour.
Give bit of a flavour, a bit of a crunch as well. So
Do we need to start heating up the oil yet, or do we do that later?
So I'm going to, if you move, well, I'm going to move my chopping board. And before I start mixing in, we stir in the mustard if you've got the sort of like thingy mustard in.
So now you should have a bowl of the veg and a bowl of the batter.
Yeah, bowl of the veg and a bowl of the batter in front of you.
Wok on the cooker.
I have just put the wok on the wok or your deep fryer, or not an air fryer, and have your slotted spoon at the ready as well. Where is my slotted spoon disappeared to?
I'll be in the sink.
Can we use a saucepan?
Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yes, you
can. You'll put less of your. There's my spoon. There'll be less of your dollops. I'll show you what will happen. So you've got your batter now. Look at my red trouser day. My cap's there covering up. So any vegetable oil will work. I like crisp and dry because it drains quickly. So it's a brand new bottle, so I'm going to open up my bottle. If you put your heat, if you put your hobs on, I've got an induction. If you've got an induction, put it on the high. Pour as much oil as you can. So if you've got a big bottle, I'll show you how much I've got in my wok. That will do, I think. That's probably about half a, how many, what is this, 1 litre or 2 litres? 2 litres, about a litre I've put into my...
But I guess that's dependent on the size of pan you're using,
the
right?
size of the pan, yeah, absolutely.
You need to get it. So perhaps it might be easier to talk about depth in terms of inches or centimetres or something of the oil. So about
I think it's also a
couple of inches.
About 3 inches, let's say. If you've got a saucepan, it'll probably need 3 inches, so you need to make sure you'll be able to get your slotted spoon in.
Right, so you're heating up the oil now on high.
On high. So while that's heating up on high, what we will do, it will take a couple of minutes on heat on high, or depending on your hob. If you've got a gas hob, it probably, it depends on the speed. So once that's heated up on high, before we start frying it, we'll test it out to make sure the oil is the right heat, because we don't want to fry it too quickly. We don't want to fry it too slowly, because otherwise the batter sucks in all of the oil, and that won't make it taste nice at all. So once it's sort of like heated up, we'll reduce the heat to medium, and then it will be just about ready to actually start frying. Now, while that's happening, got paper stuck on the bottom there. While that's happening, we've got the batter in a bowl, and we've got our veg in another bowl. So if you're ready,
you chuck all the veg into the same bowl as the batter.
Yeah.
Right. And then you mix it all up, presumably. Yeah,
you mix it all up. Now, here's what I tend to do. This is where you get your hands dirty a little bit.
So you use your hands more than anything, do you?
Yeah. So that way everything gets coated rather than a spoon.
Okay, so hands in. Hope they're clean.
Yep, they're clean. Mine is clean. If I'm making this to take to somewhere, I always wear gloves. And if I've got my nails done or something like that, I always use gloves to make it so my nails don't get messed up.
Yeah.
The vanity of it all.
So you're just making sure all the onion is coated in the veg, basically, and nicely mixed together. Very good.
Yeah. And there's a reason for doing this. And everything's flying out of the bowl as well. Come back in. This is great. So you'll be able to still see the strands of your vegetables, your onions and your peppers. You'll still be able to see a lot of that. And and that's why we call it piazza. So we can actually see the vegetables. They're not in a ball or anything like that. So, you know, as we said, we test the oil kind of thing. So usually it's like using the batter or a little bit. I'm just going to put one in there, and it's not hot yet, my oil, so it's taken a little while
So
to do that.
we're looking for an oil response of what? It just sizzles quite fast.
It will sizzle and rise up.
Right.
It will
So-
sizzle and rise up, and then you know it's ready, and then I'll show you what's going to happen to actually create your
So we're waiting
onion
for the
bhaji.
oil to get hot enough, and
Yeah.
the way we know it's
So
hot enough is
put a
you
little bit of your batter in.
put a
yeah.
bit of batter in and watch it
Yeah.
sizzle up and rise.
And once you know it's risen, then you can start reducing your heat on your pan. Basically, to reduce it to medium, so it maintains that temperature. So the actual bhajis that you make, they don't burn, but they get sort of like the insides cook as well as, you know, and the onions. The onions won't fully cook, but they will be nice and soft and crunchy at the same time as well.
Okay, so we just need thumbs up for when oils are ready, presumably.
Yeah. Oh my God, Rohan's oil's ready.
Jeff
Oh.
and Joe are good to go. Okay,
Cool.
excellent. So if your oil's ready, you put and Tim and Sally are good to go.
Cool. So if your oil's ready and your test has risen up, you're ready to go. Mine's still, what's going on with mine? Mine's
They're
not
not a
going.
good advert for electric hobs, are they?
Well, the induction hob's really good, you know, pretty good. So yeah, it's
Right.
coming up now. So if I put another, because I put a little bit of an onion in there, so it will start picking up.
Rohan,
When
are
it
you
starts-
ready? He's ready.
Yeah, he's
Julia,
ready.
are you ready? No, Julia's not
No.
ready.
Cool. Julie and me, we're on the same page.
Okay. Christine, are you ready? Not yet. Okay.
But yeah, cool. Christine, we're sorted. Just moving things aside.
Is it like a tablespoon to put in? Because ours is hot now because we've done one.
Right, so you can use a tablespoon. Oh wow, look at that. So so you can use a tablespoon to put a tablespoon of the dollop in there. You know, unless if you want to go really sort of like messy like me, I tend to sort of like get,
So small handful.
that's the size, and I just basically just drop it in, not too close, not too far away, because you don't want it spitting at you. And depending on the size of your wok or your pan, you can probably put maximum of, you know, 3 to 4 at a time, and they will fry. It gives it about, depending on the heat of your hot oil, should probably take, you know, using your slotted spoon, you can turn them over, and as they rise up, they won't stick to the bottom. Hopefully they shouldn't stick to the bottom, and you can actually happily fry them.
So how long for, Rosie?
About 3 minutes, you know, each batch. So
Keep
Okay.
them warm and in the oven, presumably.
you can keep them more warm in the oven. Basically, and what you've got is your serving dish. That I've got a little, like, I just tend to use like a flan dish or something like that. Any
Right.
old dish would do, big dish. And I've got some kitchen paper which I've put in, so it will soak up any excess oil when you take them out. And I think, as Sally did, she basically took one out and she's put it onto her serving dish with her with a kitchen paper on there. So and you can do that for the whole batch, and pretty much in about how long? About, you know, 10-20 minutes, all of your onion bhajis will be done, ready to eat. And thus ends my lesson.
So make your mixes and
And I can answer questions.
cook them
now if
up
you want.
and keep them aside. And then when everybody's ready, we'll serve and drop into Zoom rooms for
Zoom rooms, or we can stick together because there's only a few of us, isn't
Only
there?
a few of us there. We could all probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can stop recording if you want now.
I will. So I will do just that. Thank you, Rosie.